everyone, thank you so much for clicking yet another video, and welcome if you're new. My name is Taddy G, and this channel is all about me taking you guys along for the journey with me as I build this clothing brand. Guys, I feel like I haven't actually done that intro in so long because I've been doing vlog style videos, and prior to that I'd taken a break. I had taken a long break, so I haven't actually sat down and filmed a video like this in a while, but I'm really happy to be sat down and filming again. For my Sunday uploads, I actually wanted to do like a video that expands on a topic that I've done in my vlog style videos, you know, in my SV 2.0 episodes in my series. So towards the end of my last video, you saw me, if you've watched it. If you haven't watched it, then I'm gonna link it up here or here. I'm actually not sure where it's going to appear, but it will appear up here at some point now. So towards the end of that video, you saw me designing my jumpsuit in Illustrator. And now I got a request in one of the comments asking whether I can actually show how I use Illustrator to create my designs. And that is today's video. And I'm really sorry if that intro was just unnecessarily long. So let's get into it. And now I am gonna become a little box in the corner. So the program that I use is Adobe Illustrator, and I have the 2020 one downloaded. So I haven't really changed anything when it comes to the toolbar, but what I have done is I've added the live paint tool, and to add that I literally clicked these three dots at the bottom here to edit the toolbar, and I added it. So all your extra tools that you might need, if you've got anything missing from your toolbar that I have but you don't have in your toolbar, you can find them in this like little three dots down here, and you'll find it in this section here. So the main tools that I use when I'm using Adobe Illustrator is this tool here, which is the selection tool, and the quick key, what do they call it? The shortcut key is V. I also use the direct selection tool here, and the shortcut key for that is A. I use the pen tool, which is here, and if you left click on here, you will see the anchor point tool, and I also use this tool a lot as well. I use the text tool, or the type tool, to type text, obviously. I use the live paint bucket here, which I did speak on briefly. I also use the fill and stroke tools here. There's like a gradient tool in here, which I use sometimes as well. Then over here are my properties. So I'm just going to click the pen tool and just show you what properties come up when you have the pen tool selected. So you've got the fill and you've got the stroke. So stroke is like how thick the line is going to be. For example, if I increase that to like 10, this is how thick the line's going to be. Then if I decrease that to like 1, you see that the line gets smaller. And then you've got your opacity. I think it's pronounced opacity. You can decrease like how visible you want what you've drawn to be, if that makes sense. Then over here you've got your layers. Now this is particularly important for what we're actually going to be doing today, because you're able to like lock certain layers, and you can add your layers by using this tool down here. So create new layer, and you can like lock a layer in place. You can make a layer visible or invisible. And yeah, that's pretty much all the tools that I'll typically use when I am using Adobe Illustrator. Now it's time to actually set up the document and get into actually using it. So when I want to create my designs, I will launch Adobe Illustrator and click create new. I typically work on an A4 sized document, and I always put it into the landscape mode. I've never changed any of these. I've always kind of kept them the same, because to be honest, I don't actually know like what they mean. Here you can change like what you want the document to be called. So I'm gonna call it YouTube demo, and then click create. So when you're creating designs in Illustrator, there's one of 3 ways that you can do it, in my opinion anyway. So the way I typically do it is I will start off with a sketch. You can also actually just go into Google and type in technical drawing of whatever it is that you want to create a technical drawing of. I'll show you exactly what I mean. So in here I can just type in you can see my search history. I'll just type in technical drawing of overalls. You can see this is what I used to help me do my jumpsuit. So then you can like basically select which one will best match what you want to draw. So for example, if I was doing my jumpsuit, I'd probably select something like this and then just adjust it so that it actually looks how I want it to look. So that's a hack for y'all. That's a hack you can use. Or you can start from scratch, which I never do because I feel like that's just going to be a lot more time consuming. So the way I typically do it is I will start off with my sketch and I will just take a picture of my sketch, and that should come straight to my computer, and here it is. And I'm just gonna pop that in here, just gonna drag it, zoom out a bit. As you can see, it's actually too big. So to scale down a object or a picture that you've put into Illustrator without like distorting it, you can hold down the shift button and that will make sure that it doesn't distort. But if you don't hold it down, it will start doing all kinds of madness. I'm just gonna reduce the size of this and put it in my document that is too small. So I'm gonna make it a bit bigger. In layers, this is in layer 1, so we can actually rename that layer. We can say like drawing or something. This is not necessary, but it just helps like when you're like trying to like decide which layer you're gonna work in. Once it's where I want it, I'm just gonna lock it in place so that it doesn't go anywhere. I can't move it around. Then I'm actually gonna open a new layer down here. So create new layer, and there's my new layer, and I'm gonna name that as trace. I don't know, something like that. And that's the layer that we're going to be working in. But we're actually going to go back into our drawing layer because this kind of makes it easier. So I'm actually going to unlock that and I'm going to go into properties and I'm going to click the drawing or the pasted image and I'm going to reduce the opacity just so that like, I don't know, it's just easier to see the new lines that you're going to create. Then I'm going to go back into layers and I'm going to lock that in place, and that's actually ready to go. Now I'm zooming in. On my MacBook, I literally just, do that to zoom in, but the zoom in button for Illustrator is down here. Let me put this on full screen. Oh, it was in full screen. It's like down here if you want to like zoom in and stuff, or you can press Z and your zoom in tool will come up. I'm gonna go back to V, which is your selection tool. That's like the tool that you'll be using mainly to like move things around. So now that my drawing is all set up, I'm gonna go into my trace layer here and we're gonna select the pen tool. To select the pen tool, you can just press P, and then in properties, I'm actually gonna change the fill to none, because if I start drawing with that as white, then it's gonna actually cover up my drawing. I will show you what I mean actually as an example. So if I start drawing with this, it's gonna start, can you see, like forming that? And that's just like annoying. That is why I changed this to a little line, which means no fill. So this is the way that I like to do it. I know like tutorials on YouTube will show you a different way, but in my honest opinion, I feel like this is the most easiest way to draw using Illustrator, in my opinion. So what you want to do is, I like to zoom in just so I can kind of see where my lines are. And basically what you want to do is, once you've got like your pen tool set up, you're just going to click on these points and the line will start to develop. What I'm placing, they're called anchors. So I'm just literally beginning to draw. Now they're just going to be like straight lines, but we are going to sort them out later. But this is just to get like the general shape of the jacket. So we're just literally clicking. And to do this, like, you just want to click where makes sense to you. And because it's a symmetrical jacket, I'm literally just going to do half of it. So to stop like this, because as you can see, it wants to draw the next line, I just click P and it kind of like detaches itself. So I'm going to go back up here, and can you see like that purple line that's come up there, that is to show me that that's going to intersect with the line that I've drawn down there. So really and truly, I should have actually started my drawing here, but I'm just going to join that line to here. Now I'm going to fill in the rest of my drawing. So here I'm going to create this line. So as you can see, like when I click here, for some reason, it doesn't want to draw. If anybody is an Adobe Illustrator expert and they're watching this video for whatever reason, I don't know, please comment down below and tell me why it does that, because sometimes it doesn't and sometimes it does. But when it does, all I'll do is I'll literally just draw what I want to draw away from those lines and then just move it. So I'm going to go up here and I'm going to click my selection tool V, and I'm just going to move that line down here. This is a long-winded way of doing it, but at least it allows me to show you what A does. So I'm going to go up here and I'm going to click direct selection, and I'm just going to literally extend that line here and extend it here, and that's literally where I want it to be. I'm going to go back to pen, and look, now it's drawing like normal, how I want it to draw. I don't know why it does that sometimes, but it does. So here needs to be a circle. So if I go over here, which is a tool I didn't introduce earlier on, there is a rectangle tool. It might be different for you, but it will be like a shape tool. So if you left click or right, is it right click or left click? If you right click or left click or whatever it is, you can go into here and you will see like the other shapes that you can do. I'm just going to select the ellipse tool, and then I'm literally going to click, and this will pop up. And you can put in like whatever measurements you want for your circle. I don't know what the measurements are for my circle, so I'm just going to click OK, and it will produce a circle that's actually too big. Then I'm going to go up here and click the V tool, and I'm just going to reduce the size of this circle. But remember to click the Shift key, because that makes sure that the circle, you know, stays, what's the word, proportionate to each other. But because of how I have my Illustrator set up, it's also going to reduce the stroke as I reduce the size of the circle. So I'm just gonna bring that stroke back up to 1, and then I'm gonna put that circle here. So that's pretty much one half of my jacket complete. Now I'm gonna go back into the pen tool, and I'm gonna right click and select the anchor point tool. This is where it's kind of fun, but it's kind of finicky as well. This is where you're gonna start making your curved lines. So I'm actually gonna start off with this line here. The way I like to do it is I will just literally click the middle of it and then just pull it. There is a different way of doing it, but I honestly feel like that this is the easiest way. So as you can see now, that line is nice and curved. But for this particular line, I'm actually kind of sort of going to click on the anchor and drag those anchor points out, and that will curve it that way. So if I go up, it will do this. If I go down, it will do this. But I'm just pulling it out. And when you pull it out, you just want to pull it so that it just goes to like where you want it to be. I'm so sorry if my voice is croaky, guys. Like, I don't know why it does this. Then we're going to go down here. For this one, I'm going to go into the center, and I'm just going to pull it down along with this line as well. I'm just going to pull that down a bit too. Over here, I'm going to zoom in, and I'm going to go to its point this time, and I'm going to like pull out those anchors like I did, because when you do that, it kind of like shapes like both sides. As you can see, I really hope that's making sense. Up here, again, I'm going to click this tool, and I'm going to just go in the center this time and pull those out, because as you can see, when you do it that way, it adjusts like both sides, and if you keep it straight, it will adjust it like symmetrically. And as you can see now, this line is out of place. So again, I'm going to click V on my direct selection tool, and I'm just going to move that so that it's in the right place, and I'm going to click A to actually reduce the line. I'm still in A, just to move this line up and move this line up. A is your direct selection tool, so it actually allows you to kind of like adjust lines, whereas V will just like, you're just moving things around, if that makes sense. So I'm pretty happy with what that looks like. So I'm going to click V, and I'm going to highlight my drawing, I'm going to copy it and I'm going to paste it and drag it over here. So with all of that selected, we're going to go up here into object and we're going to click transform and we're going to click reflect, and we're going to reflect it on the vertical axis and we're going to click OK. And as you can see, it saves you a lot more time because you know that your jacket is actually symmetrical. So I'm going to place it so that the collar points meet. And then we're going to end up going back and pulling those lines in together so that they actually meet. Now I'm going to go back into my layers. I'm actually going to open up my drawing. I'm going to unlock it, go into properties and click the actual drawing. And I'm going to reduce the opacity even more because I feel like I need to, so that I can see my lines a lot better. I'm going to go back into layers and I'm going to lock that into place. And again, go back and be working in my trace layer. Now, this is where the A tool comes in handy. So we're going to click direct selection. And I'm going to start down here. So I'm going to pull this line a bit and pull this line a bit until both lines meet. And we're going to do that for the whole jacket, just so all the lines that need to meet. So as you can see, my jacket is taking shape quite well. And the reason why I didn't do like the buttons in the center is because it's not symmetrical. So now I'm going to go back into my pen tool and I'm actually going to add in the rest of the jacket. So and that's pretty much my basic jacket. What kind of jacket? That's just like a normal jacket. Like it's like one of those like denim-y but not quite a denim jacket because it's not actually made out of denim. Now when you're sending a drawing like this, you might want to do the back of the jacket too. We have no use for this drawing layer anymore, so we can actually get rid of it. Get rid of this, yep, and it will just leave the jacket. So I'm gonna move that jacket over to the side so that I can show you how to do, like, say if you wanted to do the back of the jacket. But I actually think the stroke of this jacket is actually too big, so I'm gonna highlight it all and I'm gonna go into properties and I'm just gonna reduce it to perhaps 0.5. No, actually I'll reduce it even more, 0.25. And that's looking more of like a sketch in my opinion. Then I'm actually gonna just copy and paste that jacket over here. And I'm gonna do the back of the jacket. So to do the back of the jacket, I'm literally just getting rid of all the bits that would not be at the back of the jacket. And as you can see, that's a really quick way of doing the back of the jacket. So now you've got the front and the back of the jacket. That's pretty much the technical drawing done. The next bit is colouring it in like your child. Yeah, colouring the jacket in. There's two ways you can do it. You can literally select your jacket and then go into your fill and then just colour it in that way. But the way that I like to do it is I like to use the live paint tool. But before we do that, actually, I'm going to show you how you can put text. This is the type tool. So if I click that, I can literally just type what I want. So let's call it a Taddy G jacket. Over here, it will give you like the fonts. So you can change the font in here. And you can change the style. If there's other styles here, you can change the size. So this will increase it and decrease it. Change the color here, and you can change the stroke here. So you can actually add a stroke, which will pretty much make it thicker, or you can just not have a stroke at all. Or if you zoom in, you can add a stroke. This is quite cool. I discovered this not too long ago. You can add a stroke, and I'm going to reduce the thickness of the stroke. But then in here, I'm going to put no fill so that it gives you that kind of effect. And that is actually how I'm going to leave this. I'm actually going to change the font and I'm going to change it to, that's quite cool. Let's change it to Times. And that's my font ready. And you can like turn it around and do all of that if you want. I'm going to put it on the back of the jacket right here. Also, my jacket needs a line here. So I'm gonna go to my pen tool and I'm literally gonna add that line in. Now it looks right. It's looking good now. So that's how you would add text to your jacket. Another way you could do it is actually by selecting the pen tool. Yeah, I'm actually going to just do this example up here. So I can draw a line like this. Yeah, and I can curve this line like this, as we have been in our jacket. Now I can go into my text tool and I'm going to left click, and in here you will see an option that says type on a path. So this is my path and I'm going to click here, and then I'm going to click right on here on the path, and that will allow me to type along that path. As you can see, it's giving me an example already. I don't know how people film podcasts, you know, like my voice is just, I don't know whether it's a thing where like when I'm putting on my explaining voice, I feel like that's the reason why it goes all weird and stuff. But anyway, to colour in the jacket, there's one of two ways that you can do it. There's this way of just, you know, highlighting it and changing the fill. So I can just change that to, I don't know, let's change it to this. Or there's a different way, which is the way that I actually prefer to colour in my documents or my drawings. So I can select this here and I can go into object up here and I will click live paint and I will click make. Yeah, and I told you about that live paint bucket that's down here, and now we can select it and put it to good use, and that will allow you to actually like colour in sections of your piece. So I'm just going to come over here and select my colour, click the live paint bucket over here, and that should be ready to just fill in those colours. So I'm going to have fun with this, guys. Like, it's going to be quite ugly in all honesty. Oh, I don't mind what that looks like. So you've got the general gist. One more thing that I recently discovered is basically how to make a pattern. So I'm going to take my text. I'm actually quite hungry. I'm going to take my text, Taddy G, and I'm going to rotate it to about 40 degrees. You don't have to rotate it to 40 degrees. I just want it at 40 degrees. And I'm going to select that, and I'm going to go up here into object again, and I'm going to click pattern, and I'm going to click make. Now, as you can see, I've created a pattern that looks like this. It's got all my Taddy G repeated. This is good, like say if you want to create a pattern for your drawing, you can go in here and there's like loads of different options as to how the pattern's going to appear. So it's currently in grid, but you can do brick by row, brick by column, this one. I'm going to stick with grid, and then you can like adjust like how far away you want it from each other. So if I click 20, you see it's going to space out a bit more. But if I just go back and click this will do it proportionately. So now if I put 20, it's going to change the height as well, so it actually looks proportionate, and I'm actually going to leave it like that. And once you've created your pattern and made it look how you want it to look, you can click done. And your pattern is actually going to be like over here in your swatches. So then I can select this and I can click this, and there we have it. And then another quick trick that I like to use, because obviously there's no background color to this, so what I would typically do is I would select this again, copy it, paste it, and I will align this. I would then change this to, for example, this color, and then I'm gonna move it to the back. So I've just right clicked, you get these options here, and I'm just gonna send it backwards. That is quite a sick jacket if I do say so myself. Let me know if you'll buy a jacket like this, guys. I might have to make a jacket like this. I'm not feeling the pockets though. Let me color those pockets in. Yes. Get rid of that. And guys, that is pretty much how you can do your designs on Illustrator. I really hope that I've actually managed to explain that in the best possible way. If you've got any questions of how to do anything, then just literally drop me a comment and I will respond to the comment. And if this hasn't been clear enough for you guys, I will try and create like another video and try and make it even more clear. But honestly, I am not an Adobe Illustrator pro. I literally taught myself. I'm self-taught. I used YouTube to learn, and I kind of just learn on the job, you know. I learned as I was going along, but everything that I've spoken about in this video is pretty much like, I feel like it's the main basic tools that you would need to actually create a design that makes sense, in my opinion. So yeah, I really hope that this video has been helpful, and I just want to thank the individual that actually asked me to do this video. Thank you so much. I actually enjoyed creating this video, and I know this is probably going to be a longer video than usual, but I do definitely think it's going to help quite a few of you guys when it comes to bringing your designs to life and actually turning it from something that looks like this into what's on the screen. So guys, thank you so much for coming back, watching another video. I really hope you've enjoyed this tutorial type style video, and I'm really sorry if my voice was like croaking and stuff. Honestly, I can't help it. When I'm explaining things and talking for a long period of time, naturally my voice croaks. I'm so sorry. But guys, please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I will catch you in my next video, which will be out on Wednesday, and that's going to be all about tech packs and how to make a tech pack. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you in my next video. Bye.